for another episode of Dante's Story Time. Make sure y'all hit the like button, leave a comment, and share this video. Let's get to it.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Back in 2011, there was this white guy by the name of Peter Rosenberg that was in C dorm. And Peter Rosenberg, what he specialized was doing tattooing. Now, when he first got in there, nobody knew that he knew how to do tattoos at all. You know, he was quiet, he kept to himself. And then one day, somebody went in his cell to go rob him, and they noticed that he had all these drawings. So after they robbed him or whatever, they asked him like, yo, you know how to do tattoos? And I guess he said, yeah. Now, when I got to see him, he was already in there maybe 5 or 6 months before I got in there. So when I got in there, you know, I only got one tattoo, and my tattoo is on my neck and it got my wife's name. Now, I'm not no tattoo guy, but you know, when I got in there, I was asking people like who got the reins, who running the pod and whatnot or whatever. And, you know, my homeboy from Michigan told me like, yeah, this guy got the reins and, you know, they running with the Bloods and, you know, the store guy over here, the weed man is over there, the pill guy over there, the tattoo guy is over here, which is Peter Rosenberg, right? So one thing that I noticed about Peter Rosenberg was that he was getting punked out. Now, I ain't talking about getting sexually punked out that I'm aware of, but you know, the Bloods was in there running down on him, telling him like, yo, give me a free tattoo. And he had just tattoo the guys and they'll say, yo, we'll give you this, that, and don't give it to them. Or they'll just straight gorilla pimp them and just basically threaten them to give a tattoo. So, you know, one thing in prison is that you have to stand up for yourself. That's number one. You have to stand up for yourself. But majority of the time, you know, these guys that be running down on other cats, they are not physically, how can I put it? They can't physically defend themselves. So it's kind of hard for them to fight these guys off and, you know, take up for themselves, because one myth is that if you take up for yourself, then people will leave you alone. Well, that really depends on what type of dormitory or pod that you in, because sometimes you'll take up for yourself and cats will still run down on you just for pure entertainment. And then you got other cats that might step in and have your back because they see that you ain't no chump or whatever. But then again, who knows? It is what it is. So maybe I'm gonna say I had to been in there for maybe about 2 weeks, and I walked up to him and I asked him, I said, yo, let me holler at you, Peter. And so we walked, went in the cell. I said, man, why you let these dudes run over you like that? And he was like, man, I can't beat these guys. I can't fight these guys, man. They'll destroy me in here. I said, yeah, I feel that. I said, why won't you just click up? He was like, man, I just want to do my time. I just want to do my time. And it ain't even me. I didn't even want to do these tattoos. But, you know, when I got robbed some months back, they found that I can draw and they had me doing tattoos. And, you know, I just want to do my time and get out of here. And I said, okay, that's straight. But I'm like, you know, maybe because here's the thing, y'all. This dude was getting slapped around. He was just getting dogged out. And me being who I was, yeah, I wanted to help him, but I already know how that can turn out. Like, I didn't know none of these cats in this dorm. And I didn't have nobody, because it's like this. The Bloods was running that pod. It was about 15 Bloods in there, and it was running the pod. So I couldn't really, you know, take up for this guy, because now it's like, okay, if I take up for him, then they ride down on me, then who going to aid and assist me? Because he's not going to aid and assist me, you know. So it'll be basically me taking on the beef that I ain't have no business taking on. If he ain't gonna ride for himself, what makes you think he gonna ride with me when it's time to ride, right? So I said, all right. Well, I was like, hey, well, I mean, if you need, like a blade or whatever, I can assist you. He said, no, ain't no need for that. Matter of fact, yeah, it ain't no need for that. God got me. And I said, all right. And as I was walking out of his cell, he said, hey, Dante. I said, what's up? He was like, well, don't too much worry about me, man. I can take care of myself. So I walked back in the cell. I said, what you mean you can take care of yourself? He said, trust me, everything ain't what it seems. These guys might think that they doing something to me, but I'm getting them, trust me. And I'm like, okay, all right. So when I walked out the cell, I went back to my cell to go lay down, and I was just thinking about what he said. He said, don't worry about them guys, man. I got me. Trust me. I'm taking care of myself. So I was wondering, when you hear in prison, when you hear things like that, you like, what could he be talking about? Like, what did he mean by that? And it dawned on me to a couple months later, and I'm about to tell y'all what's about to happen. So weeks go by, right? Weeks go by, and I see the same thing. The blood's going in his cell, demanding tattoos. He tattooing them. They even giving him the supplies or whatever. So I noticed one thing. Now remember, y'all, I got my first tattoo in, how long have I been married? Because I got my first tattoo, dang, y'all, was it my 5th year anniversary? Oh man, I don't know. I think in my fifth year anniversary. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But yeah, I noticed something. Even when I got my first tattoo, the tattoo artist he was giving me fresh needles or whatever. He pulled it out the pack and it was never used, right? So it dawned on me like, hold up. This dude is doing all these tattoos, but he only got 1 or 2 guns. And if I'm not mistaken, he's using the same needle. Then it dawned on me, y'all. Now, you remember when I said that he told me, don't worry about me, Dante. I can handle mine. I'm getting them back. They just don't know it. And I said a couple months later, then it came clear of what he was actually saying. Yeah, that time has came. So there was a pandemic or epidemic, or however you want to say it, about these guys, these certain guys, right? These Bloods and other cats. They all start having hepatitis B, hepatitis C, right? And everybody, it was like they had to shut the place down because it was like a pandemic that went through there of all these guys catching, hepatitis, and they were trying to figure out what it was. So then they traced it down to, oh boy, somebody ratted him out saying, oh, he doing tattoos or whatever. So that's when it happened. They came in there, they grabbed him up out of there, right? And then that's when it struck. Word got back that the reason why all these guys got this hepatitis and all this stuff is because dude was using the same needles. He was using the same needles on these guys. He figured, well, hey, I can't beat these dudes physically. They keep beating me up. They keep punking me out. So I know how to get them. I get them with this needle. Yeah, I just won't change. I won't clean the needles. I'm going to affect every guy in here that put hands on me. I'm going to affect every guy in here that extorted me. I'm going to affect every guy that thought they was doing something to me and they thought they was going to get away with it. Oh, yeah, I might be a skinny white guy that can't beat you guys physically, but I'm going to do what Dante say. And this is a military mind game. Yo, Peter Rosenberg, skinny white guy. That's what you call military mind games at its finest. You see, Peter Rosenberg, I would like to call a guest, a guest in the Terror Dome. And for those that watch my channel, you all know in the Terror Dome, it goes down. You never know who's going to show up in the Terror Dome. You never know. And speaking about the Terror Dome, hey, y'all, listen. From here on out, I'm going to drop a new story time every day at 11 a.m. But then at nighttime, I'm going to stream. I'm going to start doing my gaming at nighttime, maybe around 8 p.m., right? So y'all can, for those that like to play video games, y'all can rock out with me at nighttime at 8 p.m. on out. But 11 a.m., that's when I drop my story times. But let's keep the story going. And if y'all haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you unsubscribe and subscribe back to the channel and hit the notification bell, because YouTube haven't been sending out my notifications. All right. But let's get back to the story. So after word went out, they start testing everybody. It was a pandemic up in there, man. All these cats getting hepatitis, and it got traced back to Peter Rosenberg that was doing these tattoos on these guys. Now, I'm gonna be real with y'all. This guy was clever. And I don't blame him to keep it a buck with you. I mean, what can you do when you got 5 or 6 bloods running down on you, telling you that you gonna do these tattoos or we gonna beat you? And then they slap you around to just establish dominance on you. So I don't blame Peter Rosenberg for what he did. I don't blame him, because how else you gonna fight back? And well, I guess he fought back the only way that he knew he could fight back was the military mind games. So in total, it was 24 men that got infected with hepatitis. And these 24 men, hey, it is what it is. They violated Peter Rosenberg. I mean, what could he do? He couldn't beat him physically. So he had to do the only thing that he had to work with. And that's, hey, he hit them with that hip. Listen, I'll tell y'all another side story right quick. That ain't really got nothing to do with prison. In Detroit, there was a woman that some of her kids froze to death. I'm gonna put the story up here soon at a later time, but a woman and her mother, I believe, got in the car and they went on the top of this casino building or whatever in a parking garage, and it was really cold outside and some of the kids passed away, unfortunately. That story right there is very, very hurtful and troublesome, because it's a lot of people that's going through a lot. It's a lot of people out here in this world that really don't know no better. You know what I mean? You would think okay, well, why they didn't have the car running? Well, then one might say, well, what about carbon monoxide? One might say, well, why they just didn't go to family? Why they didn't reach out to friends? When I looked at the story, I just briefly looked at it. I think she reached out to one of the baby daddies or something, and you know how that go. Baby daddy like, man, I ain't got it, or just was like, whatever, it ain't my business. But it always seems like it takes for somebody to pass away or to die for people to feel sorry and want to do something. And I know a lot of y'all gonna say, well, what about self responsibility and all this and that? But people go through things. Sometimes people lose their job. Sometimes people lose their source of income. Sometimes people get sick. Sometimes people have, real mental issues and they don't know how to cope with life and things happen. But this right here, I don't know if it could have been avoided. I don't believe this woman actually decided to just wake up and say, hey, we finna go freeze the kids. I don't believe that happened. I think it was a terrible tragedy, a terrible accident that happened. And, I just want to bring awareness to that situation, man. It's like if you struggling in life financially, and you and your kids' health could come into questioning, you got to exhaust all resources, man. Don't be ashamed to go to a shelter. Reach out to all your family members, all of them, because anything beats being dead. You know what I mean? Anything beats being, a life or lives being taken. So, prayers for that family that lost them kids. And us men, we have to do better. We got to do better with these women that we dealing with. You know what I mean? And I say we because we all are part of the same race or whatever. But us men, and that's the human race, but us men really got to start stepping up, man, and, stepping up to the plate and take care of these kids when you laying down with these women or whatever, because these situations like this really happens. This should have never happened when this woman lost her kids because they had to go sleep in the parking garage on top of a building in Detroit in 0 below weather. But I just want to spread that awareness. And with that, y'all be safe. I'm out.
If you enjoyed this story time, make sure you leave a comment, hit the like button, and share the video. Until next time, take care.